Hey guys, GH, welcome to the practice inferno. It's only about 100 degrees again today. Guys, just want to talk about channel lock pitching and the real advantages of channel lock pitching with the back ball position, the bias of the weight down the trail vertical axis or on the trail side, the fact that we're going to have our shoulders closed and we're going to basically be starting the ball in the same direction all the time, which is really important on critical shots like this. That first flag there is 42 yards. The one beyond it is 55. Now, if you're in a situation like this where you've got a pitch shot, you should be able to hit the ball inside 10-foot circle from here on that 42 one. Otherwise, you're really losing the benefit of being in this position. Now the advantage, as I said, with channel lock is that, hey, we're playing the ball back here. We're predominantly loading this trail foot here. We're not getting forward like this, you know, with an awful lot of shaft angle here. Which invariably, guys, when you do get a lot of weight forward and you get a pitch shot and you get a sand iron or a pitching wedge, you'll invariably, when you put that shaft angle on, you open the club face. And you just hit the ball to the right if you're a right-hander. Now, if you, when you're set up to pitch the ball normally, if you've got your hands forward and your weight forward, invariably you'll have this trail side sticking out like that. Now, when the weight's forward, there's a tendency to want to sort of go with the weight, and the shoulder girdle ends up going that way. And that's why you see with the rank and file player, the club player, invariably when they hit pitch shots like this, they drag the ball. They just pull the ball left of the target all the time because their shoulders are so open, and the club just goes with the shoulders. With channel lock, guys, the same as in the big swing or the full golf swing, our shoulders are closed, so we're always attacking the ball from in to out. And you carry over that feeling and that intention into pitching. Now, the advantage of that is that you will always start the ball on the same line. The worst shot you'll get is a push for a right-hander to the right of your target, which is not going to hurt you, but you know you're not going to hit any pull shots. Now the other thing is, when I pitch the ball, something Lee Trevino told me 25 years ago, he said that people don't realise that when you pitch the ball, you've got to use the bounce of the club. And what is that? That means that you've got to get the bounce into the ground as you're coming into the ball. Get the bounce into the ground, the club bounce going into the ground. It's a semi-fat shot, but it's a semi-fat shot with acceleration on it and continuation. It's a fat shot with continuation. Trevino said that's why I take such a big divot when I pitch the ball. And that's why I can jam the shot so much, because I'm hitting through the ball, through the ground and into the ball. Now I don't invariably, crunch the ball when I pitch it. Invariably I'm quite shallow through the ball. But when I do pitch the ball with channel lock, I try and use the bounce of the club. And what does that mean? That means that I try and get the club entering the ground just a little bit behind the ball. So the club's going down underneath the ball. Now you won't believe how much bounce Trevino uses when he pitches the ball. And Lanny Watkins was exactly the same. Tom Kite was exactly the same. All the good pitchers of the golf ball. Hogan, all those guys, really use the bounce of the club. Mo Norman. So guys, it's a little hard to wrap your head around to think that you're going to actually hit the ball a little bit fat, but that's what using the bounce is all about, and that's why it's vital to have the right type of bounce on your wedges. Really important to do that. But today I want to talk about basically alignment for channel lock, and that when we set up, we get the balls off the back foot. I just bring that lead foot up a little bit so I'm shut down. I never want to be open when I pitch the ball, ever. I never ever want to be open when I pitch the ball. I never want to be open when I hit any shot, but particularly when I pitch the ball. Oh, that breeze is great. Now it's hard to get this green free guy, and there'll be balls coming in from other guys here, but hopefully we can see that flag there, and I'll call the shots anyway as I hit them. So I got 42 to that flag there. Haven't hit a shot yet. So I've got no feeler. Now guys, the ground is really hard. We're in drought conditions here at the moment. And yeah, everybody around here, we're out in sort of a rural area here. Out of town, everyone out here on farms. A lot of houses out here in the rural parts of the valley out here don't have connected water. And that may sound a bit archaic, but they're rural places and they normally get plenty of rainfall, and they've got streams out there and springs, and they usually rely on that. But out here, everybody out here at the moment is out of water, guys. I've got a daughter that lives out here on a property. She's been buying water for the last 2 months. So well, the whole point of that, guys, was the ground here is very hard, so it's hard to use the bounce. But I will endeavour to do it. And the other thing, guys, when you pitch the ball, always remember that you've got to sort of get that lead, that forefinger knuckle there, releasing the club and jamming it into the ground. You don't want to just be coming through, just spooning it or flubbing it. I like to jam the ball in a little bit, so I'll hit it in a little bit lower most times, but with a bit of jam on it. Having said all that, I'll probably jam it straight into the ground. So guys, I load on the trail leg. Now what do I do on this little shot? I actually pull with the lead hand. I pull pretty hard with the lead hand to keep the club accelerating, and I turn that pinky down, and I get that lead knuckle doing that. So I'm pulling and releasing at the same time. It's just a mini long shot. All the stuff that you do in a long shot is in this little short shot. You really got to hit in to out. Ground's so hard, guys. It's so hard to get the bounce working here because the ground is so hard. But we pull in and we turn down. And we don't drive forward with the legs. You've got to really feel the club's going out there to another golf ball out here. You don't do that clearly, but that's the feeling. And when I pitch the ball, guys, I like everything. Every shot's a different shot. I'll try and hit a couple left, a couple right, a couple short, a couple long. Now, I never think about how long my swing is. I'm very much a player that sort of feels the shot, and whatever the length of the swing is required, I usually can pull that up. But I don't think I've got to take this back to here or there or whatever. A lot of people do, but I don't. Keep the shoulders closed. See, that's a couple of hops and stop. Very hard to get the bounce into the ground. Very hard to get the bounce into the ground. And again, you know, you've got to have the wedges that suit you. I don't particularly like the sand iron in this set here. And when I play on the course, I've got a specialist type wedge that I use. But a lot of people hit my club, so I just basically just let them use my standard sand iron. The amount of people that buy these clubs, guys, I've had these for a couple of years now. I used to change my clubs every week, and I used to change them every week. I've had 2,500 sets of irons because I used to get them from the manufacturers, and I'd always be trying them. But these stopped me dead. The day I tried these, stopped me doing that. And these M2s, I've had them since they come out, and I've never wanted to change them. They're just great. All right, I'll hit one to the back flag. Back flag's about 50 It's 11 past that, so it's about 53. So I've hit that in about a foot. And this green here, guys, is like rock. It's just rock hard. There's no fairway watering on it, and it's just a practice green, and it is hard. So let's review. In hitting the shot, I'm setting up on that trail foot. This is how I take it. Get the club there, then bring the lead hand in to get it. Yeah, get that pressure point there. I get my weight predominantly on that trail leg, and I keep it there like that. I want to feel like my head and upper body are behind the ball when I hit it, and I'm just jamming the bounce into the ground like that. I mean, it's just such a high quality hit when you do that. Clearly, if you're going to hit that, what Lee Trevino called a college-educated fat shot, he said, you know, if you're going to get the club going into the ground, you've got to get it going into the ground with plenty of force, and you've got to be committed to keep it going through the ground. You get it into the ground and you're not committed to accelerating on that short shot, the club's going to stay in the ground. He used to take divots like that big, just extraordinary. I mean, amazingly so. So here it is, guys, here. It's here. And do I pull with that lead hand? Yeah, I do. I really pull with that lead hand. Really pull with it. Now it's really hard, this ground here. So if you're going to practice this, try and get some normal ground. I'm normally someone who's a clipper. I just basically clip the ball most of the time. You know, I just take it off the turf, a little bit like Tom Watson. You know, I'm basically just a scraper. I mean, normally it's just there's a lot of spin on that, but I'm just grabbing the ball and scraping it. I'm not actually using the bounce. But you've got to be very precise if you do that. I've done that my whole life, but you've got to be very, very precise, because otherwise you can blade the ball very easily. So I suggest that, and what Trevino said is that the trade-off with that little fat shot, using the bounce, is that you won't blade the ball. And knowing that you're going to put the bounce in the ground, it just puts a message into the brain that makes you know, and gives you the message that you've got to keep the club accelerating. You put it into the ground. You put our little college-educated fat shot here. If we put in the ground here, and you stop it, you're in trouble. Now it's very hard to get the club into the ground here, guys, because it's like rock. Just like here, listen. And when you're practicing the shot, just really get the feeling that lead hand is actually pulling the club into the ball like that. Pull it in. Pull it in. Here, to break it up, just pull that lead hand in. Okay, guys, it's just a little bit on pitching the ball. As I say, when you've got that type of distance there, you've got to get the ball inside 10 foot. That's what you really need to do. Or if you're a club player, give yourself a 20-foot circle, which is 10 feet short, long, left or right. But you don't want to be short and you don't want to be long. So that's just a little bit of channel lock pitching. Okay, just revise. We set up, closed, we take the club inside, we fire out with closed shoulders, which means the ball is always going to start in the right direction. We're not going to be hitting it left. We won't be pulling our little shots, and we won't be hitting it with an open blade. Okay, guys, that's about all for that. That was just somebody just asked me for that. One of my own guys, not one of my channel guys, but one of my own guys. So I just wanted to give him an update on that. Okay.